Welcome to the Customer Growth Show. I'm your host, Jonathan Core, and today's guest, Keone Padilla, is a sales manager at Northwest Barricade Signs, the Pacific Northwest one-stop shop for traffic control and safety products. Welcome to the show, Keone.
Thank you, Jonathan. How are you doing today, buddy?
So far, so good. No complaints here. So awesome. Well, let's go ahead and kick this right off, Keone. And my first question, just for the audience, just so they get a little bit more context about Northwest Barricade Signs, we know when and why did the company start?
So in 2014, our founder, David Michaels, he wanted to provide a better service to our customers. And he saw a need that there was for another barricade company to come around Seattle, and we found our niche in service. And that's kind of how we started out.
So obviously the name is Northwest Barricade Signs, but in the intro, I added in, also selling safety products. So a clarifying question for you, are those two different businesses, or are they all under the same umbrella, the actual, physical store, and then also to the traffic service control?
Well, that's kind of the unique thing that we've built here at Northwest. That's kind of our way at Northwest is to combine things that make the most sense for the customers. So what we did was we built a barricade company that owns a safety store and has a flagging company. So when you said at the very beginning, one-stop shop, we really went for that one-stop shop approach.
And so just to give a little bit more context for the viewers online, what types of services does the traffic control side offer, and what types of customers do you guys work with?
So we really work with anybody in the construction industry, and that's what the addition of the safety side and the flagging side brought to us. Was we had customers that were calling for the signs, and then they were asking us, do you have the flaggers also that can help us set up the jobs and get our guys safe? So then we were like, let's think about making a run at doing a flagging company. The natural progression goes with flaggers and barricades and all the construction sites was a safety and apparel kind of supply store where we supply straw, wattle, temp tape, invert paint, all these safety codes, all the different gear, like Black Stallion, it's up behind me right here, all that stuff that we have going on. So it's really all three of the things in once is what helped us get it all over.
Obviously you had mentioned you become the one-stop shop mainly for your customers. You're finding different opportunities to be able to expand and ultimately be able to deliver kind of an end-to-end service for your customers. So I wanted to ask you, so what year, so you said 2014 was when Northwest Barricade Signs started. When did you join the company?
So I came in March of 16. So about 2 years, Dave and his daughter, Christy, had been running it, and they had a Burien location. They had a solid foundation built. They had a good customer base. They had, everything that you needed. They just needed a little help on the outside as far as, they had some employees working for them that were dedicated, but they weren't fully dedicated to the mission. So.
Okay, for sure. So finally, when you come in and, you mentioned 2016, what does the process for you look like in sales? And just to give a little bit more context, obviously in construction, it's very relationship based, partnerships and all that sort of stuff. But, as you're getting involved in the organization, what did your process kind of look like to be able to go out there and develop business?
So let's get things straight. I've never been a sales rep before. I'm not formally trained to be a sales guy. I'm just good with relationships. And so what Dave asked, when I first came on, I wasn't a sales manager. I came on as a driver and a sign maker and kind of just all around, you just do whatever we need you to get done. So I would do deliveries, and I had a flagging card, and I would go set up job sites, just kind of whatever. At the very grassroots of business, it's like, who are your 5 people can you depend on that I need to go do this? I need this stuff done.
So, like you said, very grassroots, but eventually you got to the position where you're at now within sales manager, and obviously being able to, like you mentioned, even before we started like officially recording this conversation, that you were all, several job sites today. So you're working your way around, really around the state. I see, LinkedIn posts that you make, you drove 3 hours this way. You drove, man, I assume that your car has a lot of mileage on it.
I was fortunate enough. The boss, I mean, he last year he bought me a brand new truck. So he bought me, a brand new F-150 last year, and I got an oil change yesterday at 79,000 miles. So I mean, I put about 500 to 600 miles a day in. I try to see 30 to 50 customers a day, or at least make a contact, a phone call, or something while I'm driving, because like you said, we have when I started, we were just in Burien, and that kind of speaks to the growth too. So we just had our Burien location, and Christy and Dave were getting things going. They were getting things rolling. They had a couple of delivery trucks and delivery drivers. And then when I came on board, I just kind of really focused on like, how do we make Northwest Barricade a household name? And we, obviously we have good logos. We have, great branding for what we did. So, and Dave had that all taken care of by the time I even sniffed my nose around here. And I would just essentially want to come and help take up his mission and build. Now looking back 5.5 years, we have 5 locations throughout the state, and they're all barricade, flagging, and safety locations. So all of our locations have flaggers running out of them, a safety store located at them. No matter how big or how small, some of them are smaller than the other ones, but we have 5 locations throughout the state, and we really just wanted to be the one-stop shop.
And I'm sure like having actual more localized locations helps deliver products and services faster than if you know, obviously if there was a longer distance in between, you and the customers.
So my the push for more locations was kind of due to COVID. We talked prior about business during COVID. And what COVID forced me to do was I can't be the mobile guy. Yeah, I could still drive 1 million miles a week and talk to you through your window outside, but I couldn't have the relationships with our customers that we've built throughout these years. I couldn't be who I wanted to be. So the only other idea I had was we're going to open up stores. So we opened up 3 stores during COVID. Our newest store opens up next Wednesday. It's in Kennewick, Washington, and it's a beautiful location. I would say it's my crown jewel. It's my Taj Mahal. So I can't wait to show it to everybody.
Yeah, that's super exciting, Keone. And like obviously, when I intro this conversation, it's the customer growth show, and so obviously talking about growing customer base and growing your customers. So I'm curious, just like you're talking about expansion and growth, and all these like initiatives going on within Northwest Barricade and Signs. I'm curious from your perspective, since you've been there, which aspects of the business do you think have contributed to the growth of the business? Do you think it's a lot of just a one-on-ones, or is there other factors that you've that have helped?
So, along with growing, you need to our biggest thing, or at least what I needed to make sure that we were doing, was we were expanding our product category. So we were growing and offering more to our customers. So it was more than just a sign and a cone. Now you can get your safety vests here. Oh, you know what? Now I can get my safety vest. You got any hard hats? I got those too. Yep. And we just picked up a new line of work boots. And Dustin Doherty, our safety and apparel manager, we brought him in from another big box store, and he was a district manager over there. Because to be honest, I know nothing about retail, so he's the one that helped us, really double down on the box stores and build the brick and mortar to have something presentable. Because before he came here, it was just Keone put a bunch of shirts in a warehouse.
Whatever it takes, Keone.
Hey, you see me a lot out there, and I'll sell whatever you need wherever you need it, and that's what it takes, I think, to really build and grow in this market. Is you got to be willing to do what the other guy does. You got to answer your phone at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you better be up at 5 handling up somebody else's problems.
And obviously you're highlighting a key aspect, which is obviously hiring the right talent. You'd mentioned that the former district manager, putting people in the right place as a leader, because the reality is, like, if you could make 1 million Keones, that'd be great, but there's only one. And so you're trying to find ways to, strategically put people in positions to be able to, like you said, basically build relationships at scale and across different, cities and aspects like that. So I wanted to ask you, just like speaking to growth, obviously, like, it's awesome opening up a new location. Obviously, you got to get an inventory, but one of the biggest pieces, which we had touched on, was hiring people. And right now, given the state of, just the US, there's the great resignation. There's a lot of people quitting their jobs. There's a lot of people just chilling at home. So I'm curious, how has growth within employees looked like for you guys at Northwest Barricade and Signs?
It's been difficult like everybody else. And, we haven't seen anything different than the rest of the United States has seen as far as hiring and bringing guys in here. We've actually, probably like every other company, has ramped up our hiring. We're doing hiring videos, and I've been showing up at at job fairs and things like that we have going on, just trying to get some more people in. But a core to our thing at Northwest Barricade is we have like people that are second chance employees, and that's what we really really like to do is give a guy a shot from the bottom. I mean, probably 5 or 6 of my employees I met at a bus stop on a job site somewhere, and they were able, we were able to hire them and get them all brought over. And I mean, they have apartments and cars, and that's what makes the world go round for me is being able to help somebody out. But um, I switched job fairs, so like I kind of switched what I was doing. I started showing up at some of these college job fairs, with the big guys, right? Stand there with the big guns, and they don't want to be a flagger, but I'm like, hey, come be a flagger, guys. But like, I'm trying to make it look nice and pretty, but it's it's really about just being in industry. We've raised our raised our rate of pay quite a bit, so we are one of the highest paying flagging companies in the state of Washington at this point. Uh, but we've had to do that to keep the people that we've had, and we flagging and traffic control was very fortunate through COVID because what they did with all the communications and all the rural fiber upgrades and everything with Congress that they passed all those is they allowed us to get out on the road and open up all those fiber links so that, this right here, what we're doing on this will work in Moses Lake where I'm working, or it'll work out in Kennewick or wherever we're at. A lot of the rural fiber customers, they don't have access to internet speeds the way we do. I'm sitting in our Everett location at our store now, and they don't have internet like a metropolitan city would have internet. So it's pretty good doing that.
One of the ways you and I obviously have connected, and even, still staying connected, is through LinkedIn, through social media. And obviously I've seen tons of videos that, that you've made. And obviously I would love to talk about, like what the organization does, what, other leaders within your organization do. But one of the biggest things is I've noticed in construction is people are very private. People don't want to put their face out there. People don't want to talk in front of a camera and all this sort of stuff. But yet on a consistent basis, Keone Padilla, without doubt, will make a video, whether it's a product, products within the store, or actual, like, even talking about cones and just different services that you're offering. So I'm curious, what inspired that for you?
Well, so like I said, I'm a product of the '90s, right? So I don't know if you remember any of those old commercials, right? Like the Jack Roberts commercial. I won't be under soap, right? And then you had, what was his what was the guy used to come down and kick a tire or two? Or then you had um, the guy with the dog, and his dog named Spot. So like, I mean, there's like, I grew up watching it. And I was like, I want to be that guy with that phrase, with that catch line. And that's kind of where the thing is that you're either heard or you're not heard. So I see so many people that are present on LinkedIn. They post. It's great to post and it's great to be on there, but I don't know what they do. I have no clue what they do, and I I try to look through and read between the lines and give everybody a shot. But sometimes I'm just like, it's probably my favorite platform, at least, to post on anyway. Um, but it's you just got to pick up the phone, the camera, whatever you're doing. I mean, there's no better way to market it without a huge marketing budget. I just got my brand new iPhone, and we're just going to just take a video here real quick. And for me, I think it gives it the home feel because everybody knows I'm not trying to be a studio guy. I mean, eventually, hopefully, we'll have a budget where we're going to get into marketing and doing, big budget film commercial things, right? But right now, I just work with what I got and hope everybody likes it.
And I just appreciate like the grittiness and the kind of like scrappiness, just using what you have. And the reality is like anybody can start marketing their business today. It's just a matter of one, you're willing to put yourself out there and obviously willing to learn in the process. Cause the reality is like, I'm sure maybe every video is not going to be a bomb, like a home run, whatever. But the reality is like, you're just getting those reps in, just show up every day, do it. And over time it'll become better. And then that way, when you get in a position, when you have this big budget marketing, big production, you already have an idea. You already know what works. You already know what doesn't based on your actual like practical, insight that you leveraged.
I stay away from technology a little bit, but I mean, I've learned very, very well about the analytics. And like I said before, I'm not a formally trained business sales guy by any means. I just knew how to get things from one person's to, at the end of the day, all we do is take care of somebody's need. And,
Yep.
and I think it takes somebody that fully understands their job as a I would say supplier in the traffic control world, that like it's my job to get the cones. It's my job to get the signs, barrels, traffic control. You need to be in that lane at 8 o'clock a.m. and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's kind of how we run the show. And it's worked well so far, because other suppliers, they don't necessarily want to put the customer, they do put the customer first, but they don't necessarily put the customer's needs first every time.
Hmm.
And I don't need barrels at 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're going to get them to you.
Yeah,
We're
for
going
sure.
to, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this before we move on to the next topic about social media, just to wrap it up. Have you seen actual results like from it? Like, have you had customers reach out to you? Hey, I saw this video or something like that, or maybe even sparked a conversation on the field. Like, what has been the return for you as far as social media is concerned?
The return for me has been tremendous because what I probably do, I don't know, 15 to 25 clients business off of LinkedIn every single 90 days or so. So, I mean, there's quite a few people that message me on LinkedIn. Hey, I need this. I need a quote for this. I need a quote for that. And that's really how you gain the business. That's how you are able to, if they're calling and asking for things, I mean, you have a great opportunity to go out, drop off some donuts, maybe bring out some coffee. We do everything. And like every year, what we do for our customers is we roast coffee and we give all of our customers 1 pound bags of coffee. Um, and that's like our big thing for our gift basket. So what we do is here's a little bag, Northwest Barricade Brew.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what we
You got
do,
it
I
branded
go,
and everything.
everything's branded from us. You know how that is. So the boss said nothing leaves without his name on it. So I make sure that happens for him. And that's the thing too, is that, without Dave just saying, hey, Keone, take this bull by the horns, see what you can do with it. Obviously without him and Christy's guidance throughout this whole thing, I wouldn't be able to make it to where I was now. And, he's like, I have these set of rules, and these are the set of rules that you will follow. And these are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And over time, I've learned the rules, and I mean, it's a nice little thing we got going.
And obviously, congrats to your guys' success. I obviously see it on a consistent basis, whether it's you sharing something, or I'm connected with your founder on there too, and also to your page, your guys' company page is posted content. So you guys are hitting content from every angle on LinkedIn and are super, upfront and like I said, are open to put yourselves out there in the process. Before we get to the last question, I wanted to ask you this because obviously a part like, kind of piggybacking off of maintaining your current customer base to continue to grow. How have you gone personally about, we all deal with either upset or sometimes difficult customers. That's the reality of business. It's not always going to be, roses and daisies. It's not always going to be great. But at the same time, how you approach that obviously dictates, the quality of the relationship. So I'm curious, what has worked for you as far as handling upset and maybe even difficult customers?
So we have a no policy here at Northwest. We're not allowed to say no. If we have it, it goes, no matter what day it is. So everybody answers the phones. Everybody knows that, like, if it's a possibility to get it and you need it, it must go. and we must go above and beyond to do what we're supposed to do. So when customers do get difficult or they do get, we try to manage that as much as possible and mitigate it. But when they do get crazy, at the end of the day, I end up biting a bullet, and then I end up getting yelled at by the boss, and then we end up having a customer for the next 5 or 6 years, and then we have to bite another bullet again. But there are bullets that you're gonna have to bite, you know, throughout throughout your course of doing business, right? Um, there's always something that fell through the cracks that you want to make sure to get done, and next time we'll get that done. But we're gonna have to bite the bullet this time.
So obviously, you guys take a very servant type approach. You basically want to help at any cost, and obviously, like you mentioned, something to bite the bullet. But the outcome of that is they end up being there, for a lot longer with you, through the process. Especially when it gets hard, because construction will ultimately be hard in one point or another, and some aspect of the project. So obviously, being able to have a trusted partner is super important, especially when things get really hard.
Yeah, and that's when, like, the boss, he always told me, he said, listen, I don't want to be the company. And when we were thinking about ideas of what Northwest was going to represent and what we were going to bring to the table, he said, I don't want a company that takes all the money today and then treats you like crap tomorrow. I want to build a company that takes a little bit of money from all these customers over the next 25 years so we have steady, consistent growth. I mean, setting the solid foundation for us to grow and build was, I mean, the key aspect of what we have going on.
And honestly, I feel like those are really good guiding principles, is having a long term versus making money now but at the expense of severed relationships, or like people are upset, or and all these sort of things. And the reality is, like, people can go complain online. It's not hard for people to leave bad reviews, and the goal is to hopefully mitigate that way you have a long term brand and legacy, within the community.
We try to, and we try not to make anybody bad. We try to make sure that we're being good stewards for the community. Like, we're doing Toys for Tots. I've been at 5 different we're doing another one this weekend, so if anybody's in Wenatchee, come on and see us. We'll be out in Wenatchee this weekend at the store. But we're just we we're trying to be involved in community, and being involved in community is what's really helping us make that.
And your personal experience or perspective, what have you been most proud of being at Northwest Barricade and Signs up to this point?
What we've built, I mean, it's from, I always want to be a part of something. So I played football on other teams when I was a kid, and like we always were a part of something. And then when you get to adulthood and you're out of high school, you're just like not a part of something, right? And then it's either you have to build something, and that's hard for a lot of people coming out of high school or younger kids to build something, or you got to find something to be a part of, and it's just the fact that we've built such a great company with great employees, and we've reached and helped so many different people in different aspects of not only construction, just life. There's like, when it's humbling when you see a guy come in and pick up his paycheck for his second year in a row, and you remember meeting him on the bus stop with nothing, right? Asking you for $1, and we're not only the company we built, but the people we've built.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, even hearing the passion come, as you're explaining this, obviously belonging is a huge thing. And when you can be a part of something bigger than yourself and be able to see it grow over time, obviously that's super rewarding. So I'm glad that obviously you're able to point to not only the business, but also to the people that make the business, run on a consistent basis. So, well, if people are interested in learning more about you and what you do, and maybe more about the company, where should they go find you and connect with you and the company?
So Keone Padilla is my handle on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, and we are at Northwest Barricade Sign Safety and Apparel on all those platforms also. But I mean, I even have my number on those platforms. Even if somebody wants to, hey man, I'm in this situation, and how did you do something like that? Give me a call. We'll go over it. Helping people is what it's all about for me.
I appreciate it, Keone, for you coming on the show today to obviously share obviously your personal experience and growth within the company, but then also too talking about the growth of the business, both obviously revenue, because that obviously allows for you to go more into opening more locations, which allows for you to hire more employees. So there's growth in all cylinders. And obviously just seeing the actual fruit of your labor over the past few years, obviously just really cool to see the insight. And obviously even you share about some of the reasons why you post on social media. Hopefully that'll be a nudge for other people who are listening to this to, do the same thing with their business, because there's a huge opportunity out there. And obviously you're seizing the opportunity. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Perfect. Thank you. And then if you got anything else, let me know, buddy.